Hi friends, welcome back to Sarah's Next Chapter. My name is Sarah and this is my little cosy corner of the internet where I share all my bookish related thoughts and musings with you guys. So today I'm going to be talking about my recent reread of Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, and I'm going to be comparing it to the film. So I've got some notes on my laptop. As always, grab your beverage of choice and let's get into it. So first things first, Catching Fire, if you don't know, is the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy. So in this book, we are back with Katniss, Peeta, and the rest of the gang as they traverse their lives as victor of the 74th Hunger Games. But turns out that they are actually not free from the games and they are thrust back into the 75th quarter quell. No, it's the 75th Hunger Games and it's a quarter quill. I don't know if it's the 75th quarter quill. I don't know how they work. I'm sure most of you have read this book or at least seen the film, so you kind of know what it's about, so I don't really need to go into it too much. Obviously, the genre I would say is like dystopian fiction, YA fiction, although debatable. I don't know if I want to class this as YA because I think it's a lot, but anyway, I think it is classed as YA. I think the themes in this book, again, are like survival, relationships, and there's a love triangle. And that brings me on to my first point when comparing the book to the Catching Fire film. I actually feel like upon rereading this book, there is more made of the love triangle in the book than in the film, which I find kind of interesting. But I'm actually quite glad that the film didn't go too hard on the love triangle angle, because for me, it's one of the least interesting parts of the book. It's not bad, I don't hate it. It's just not why I'm there. I'm there for the action, the adventure, the struggle, like the characters, the games, the power struggle, the dynamics. Like, the love triangle is honestly the least interesting thing for me. It's interesting. I'm along for the ride. I'm Team Peeta all the way, by the way, if you're wondering. But yeah, it's just like the least fascinating part of the books for me. So I'm actually quite glad that the films didn't go too hard on that. I think maybe it feels like it's more prominent in the books because obviously in the books we're seeing and hearing everything from Katniss's POV. So we know what she's thinking at certain moments and when she's kind of swithering between, do I love Gale? Do I love Peeta? Do I love anybody? Am I capable of love? Do I want to get married and have babies at some point? Do I want to be in a relationship or do I just want to live on my own in the woods, like away from everybody? You know what I mean? She doesn't know. She's so conflicted. And I think also we forget that she's so young. I think in these books she's meant to be like 17 or something like that. Like, she's very, very young, so it's already a confusing time, even if you aren't a girl from the seam who's struggled to survive all her life and then been thrust into barbaric games where you have to kill your peers. You know what I mean? Like, it's already a rough time being 17. So yeah, I think that's why it seems more prominent in the books, because we actually can hear her thoughts and know what she's thinking. I do think that if the Hunger Games had never happened, in the sense of like if she'd never been put in the arena with Peeta, her and Gale would have ended up together ultimately, I think. But I think as soon as she went into the games and her and Peeta, like, but even before they got into the games, like that bond that they formed, there was no hope for Gale. Like, you know what I mean? Gale should have just packed his bags, you know, gone home. Like, they have bonded so traumatically, but like so deeply to the point where they like literally have needed each other for survival in such an intense way that you just don't, you can't compete with that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the love triangle. What I thought was really interesting is there are some really iconic moments in the Catching Fire film that actually aren't in the book. So I'm going to go through these. One of the most notable ones, and one of my favourite lines in the Catching Fire film, is when so the 75th Quarter Quell has been announced. The tributes are doing their interviews with Caesar Flickerman, and they all present a united front at the end and hold hands and make this really like bold statement against the capital, like, we're united against you, right? And then in the film it cuts to President Snow watching it with his assistant or something like that, and he's like, they're holding hands, I want them dead. I mean, at that line, whoever wrote that pat yourself on the back, girl. Like, so good. And Donald Sutherland's like delivery. Donald Sutherland is just chef's kiss to play President Snow. He's so good. He's such a fantastic actor. Such a good choice. The way he delivers, like, it's so like eerie and like cruel and malicious and dark and like, it's just such a good line. It's such a good line, and it is a line that me and my husband quoted to each other all the time, which sounds really morbid. But yeah, like, it's just such a good line, and it's not in the book, but I think it's because the book is not written in that way. Like, we don't jump between characters and scenes, so it would be very weird to suddenly get President Snow's POV. Like, that would just seem really weird. We can't do that. So that is one thing that the movie has over the book, or just different. It's just different. Another part, again for me, this is a really iconic moment, is Joanna, when she's getting interviewed with Caesar Flickerman, and she says, I don't know the exact line, but it's literally like, fuck you and fuck anyone that has anything to do with this decision to like send us back into the games, because she's angry. Like, I think Joanna at her core, if you gave her like an emotion, like an inside out emotion, she's anger. She is so angry and bitter, and she hates this whole position that she's been put in. You know, when you're a victor in the Hunger Games, that the one like redeeming quality of that is you're meant to be safe. You're meant to be exempt from future games and live a life of like luxury and safety and security. So the fact that that's been like, the rug's been pulled out from under them so violently, like, she's just mad. And I love that scene again. That actress is phenomenal. Can't remember her name right now. Phenomenal the way she delivers it. You literally, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because you can feel the anger and the resentment and the hatred for the Capitol and Snow and everybody, just like the crowd. Like, she just hates everybody. She's just like, yeah, like, fuck all of you. And I love that. So that's not in the book. In the book, in the interview, she's just very quiet and very like guard up, which I get, but I actually think it was a great choice for the film to just have her completely like, I don't give a shit. This is how I feel. So yeah, I really like that. Upon reading the book again, I remember the first time reading this book, and when you find out that the arena is the clock, my little mind was like blown. It was so cool. I was like, wow. And reading it again, I had that same feeling. I was like, this is so clever. It's just like, you just don't, obviously I knew it was coming because I've read the book and seen the films, but like the first time you just don't see it coming at all, and it's just so clever. It's such a twist, and how all the different segments have different horrendous things that happen, and there's just so many, like, Suzanne Collins is, you're clever. Like, you're clever. Also, what I noticed is the character of Madge is completely missing in the film. So Madge is the daughter of District 12's mayor, and she's probably the closest thing that Katniss has to a friend apart from Gale, that's mentioned in the books. She actually is the one that gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin at the start. So you could argue, like, without Madge, Katniss wouldn't have been the Mockingjay, because that symbolism would never have really occurred. Because I think in the first film, like, Katniss just finds the Mockingjay pin at the hob when she's trading whatever or the meat that she's got, or whatever. So yeah, I don't know why they decided not to have Madge in it. I don't know if it was just thought it was unnecessary, a bit confusing. There was also a slight hint in this second book that Madge and Gale might even be love interest, or might be something going on, because she turns up after Gale's been like punished for hunting. Madge turns up at Katniss's house and gives medicine, I think it is, to like cure Gale, and there's a bit of it's just interesting. So don't know if they just thought that'd be too confusing, they just left it out for that reason, but I thought that was interesting. Also, when I was reading this, the Mags storyline. So Mags in Catching Fire is the old lady who is from District 4, Phoenix District of Fishing, and she volunteers on behalf of Annie, who's Finnick's like love interest or partner in the Hunger Games. Mags is the old lady that volunteers and goes in. In the films, she's completely mute. I don't think she speaks at all. She does speak in the book, but it's like garbled, and no one apart from Finnick can really understand her. But her character is just I don't know, it just makes me so emotional. Like, as soon as she was introduced in the book, I was like, oh God, like, I'm going to cry so much. It's just, I don't know, there's something about her character that's so emotional. And again, in the films, that actress is so good and she just looks so sweet. Oh, I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm actually going to cry. These books just get me. They just get me. Also, this is just a little side note, but Finnick, like the casting of Finnick in the films, again, perfection. The actor that plays Finnick, the way he's described in the book is exactly how he looks in the films. Like, I just think they've done such a good job of that. And so I guess, yeah, all in all, Catching Fire is an outstanding book, and I thought I was upside down there. It's an outstanding book and it's an outstanding film. I'm just falling more and more in love with this series during this rereading process. It's just given me such a deeper respect and love for the writing and attention that has gone into this series and the films. So I only have Mockingjay left to reread before Sunrise on the Reaping comes out on March 18th, which is, we're getting a look at Haymitch's games. If you're curious about Sunrise on the Reaping, we have been given a little preview of the first chapter, so I'll have that linked below. It's on the Scholastic website, I believe. I'll have it linked below so you can read it. I've already read it and was already crying, and it's only like, what, a page and a half, 2 pages or something. So yeah, strap in, because it's going to be rough. Love the Hunger Games books and films. I'm obsessed. I'm a super fan. I might even get a tattoo at some point. Who knows? Let me know what your thoughts are if you've read the Hunger Games books, if you've reread them, if you love the films. Like, just let me know. We can chat in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the excerpt of Sunrise on the Reaping, if and when you read it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment if you wish. Thank you so much for watching, and may the odds be ever in your favour. Bye!